All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the workshop. And we'll continue on now with part three of the Egyptian hieroglyph series. Basically, a companion to the book that's available on Amazon, Talk Like an Egyptian. And that book discusses the concepts that I believe were underpinning an original human language. And we can see evidence of it in the hieroglyphs. So let's go. We got up to I, the concept of infinite, or what we know as the letter I today. And the overarching concept, the highest order, is this represented as a circle on a vertical line. Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, it's okay. So let's go. First thing we'll do, we'll go straight across and I'll show you by picture. It'll be the easiest thing to do. So this is a circle on a horizontal line. And if we add a little vertical line stick underneath this, that becomes a symbol for infinite. This itself is not the symbol for infinite. This is, as we discussed in the first one, the circle of life, energy, so life being supported by energy in the matter. So it's closely related, and you'll find all these things are fairly closely interlinked. The actual symbol is for infinite is this one here. So you can see we have the circular shape stylized as a loop here, and then we have the line of the energy in the matter underneath, and also this post here, which will possibly be supporting a reference to supporting. But you will mostly see, or often see that. See if I can find one here. Don't have it in this one, but you'll often see that symbol of the infinite being offered to somebody. It's often shown in records for births of descendants. Um, there'll be two people sitting there, and one will be offering this infinite symbol, or the opportunity for eternal life. Essentially, will be the concept behind that. So then the next level, the infinite life in general, infinite of a life in general, we covered earlier on, but we'll just look at it again. It was a vertical line with a circular shape at the bottom and a cross or perpendicular line at the top. That was this fellow over here, just in this section here. Circular shape at the bottom, the line going up here, and a perpendicular line as a cross at the top. And infinite life. The symbol for infinite humanity, I haven't finalized at this time. Few suspicions, but I'm not sure of whether or not there was a concept for an infinite individual. If there was, I think it was this shape, which is fairly common again. But this could also be a reference to infinite humanity, or it could be the infinite life symbol, and the line with the circle at the bottom and the cross at the top could be the one that's related to infinite individual. So I'm basically saying I still may have those symbols mixed around. But again, the symbols are not so important. It's getting the concept right underneath the symbol. So let's see if we can find a quick one over here. Okay, this symbol here, which was basically, you will see it's a flower. It's a plant flowering. This is the flower stem. There's actually no flower on the end, but this is a stylized representation of it. There'll be a couple of other examples over here. You'll see it again. I believe this is the same concept. We've got the straight line coming up. These leaf sections are a little higher up the stalk here. We still end up with this bent over or hooked end line at the end there. So I think that is either the concept for the life level infinite, or the infinite individual. And if not, potentially the infinite individual symbol is this one just here. Okay, so they could be interchangeable, but they're both related in concept. Now, the next ones we'll talk about the give concept, what we would know as J, and another word you could use is the sharing concept. Again, the words are not so important as the concept behind it. In regards to taking, I believe there's only one reference to it in the alphabet, and it's usually a closed fist or a picture of a fisted hand. I'll put it here with the give, but I believe it relates closely to the earth. And the reason for that is that, as you'd know, well, the earth doesn't actually give anything to us, does it? We have to take from the earth. That's what we do. So this take symbol may be the counterpart to the G back here, which is sitting on its own. It may be a second reference, and it could be sitting there. But anyway, so the take is a closed hand, like you've taken and you've grabbed with your hand. So that's symbolized in that fashion. And then we have three concepts for give. So there's no upper concept for give because it doesn't give us anything, right? We have to take it. Well, it shelters and supports us, but beyond that, we have to actually go and catch the food, grow the food, fetch the water, those types of things. So at the life level concept, it's represented as a stork, a long-legged bird with a long beak. And there's one over here, I'll show you. To move. Okay, that's this guy just over in the corner here. Long legs, long beak, and that is signifying the giving to. We'll talk about the beaks of the birds soon. We're almost up to the birds. Back across now, next one. So the give to humanity is represented by a man holding out one hand. And this is a common motif. It's represented in the famous talk like an Egyptian posture, which I haven't been able to find an exact replication of that in the glyphs. However, I think it's still there's a great significance in the posture and how that has manifested into pop culture without it actually being literally in the glyphs itself. But what we do see in the glyphs is this guy here. Where's my zoom up feature? Sorry guys, there we go. This fellow up here represented many times. Okay, so here's the man with his hand up and raised, and that is an offering, right? He's offering, he's sharing, he's giving something. And there it is represented over here again. There's another one, and it's represented several times through this particular set here. Now the next one is the individual give, and again represented by just an open hand now, so it's the counterpart to the take. The give is an open hand, the take is a closed hand. And the best little version I've probably got here is in this one. And let's find out where that is. Right, just down here in this section here, this hand, and you can see the fingers there. And there'll be a little thumb coming out the top as well there. That open hands, right? So that's giving a hand. That's sharing. All right, now the next concept we can look at is what we would know as K in our modern alphabet. And it basically means connections. So it's the first and the weakest form of joinings. And you can see it in the representation of our capital letter K. We have the vertical line, and then we have a segment of the energy line, right? The V, or the wave of energy line that we've seen before. But it only connects at that very small point. All right, so it's an easily broken connection, and that is the symbolism of the letter K as it stands today in representation, and it means connection. So people connect, they come together, but come apart. They don't join together, and they certainly don't bond. The connections happen all the time. Things come into contact and break away again. So the connects life concept, a thick vertical line with one post at the bottom. I think the thick vertical line with one post at top will be the connects life concept. These are the flags, basically, what appear to be flags. So these are representative of the connections. At this point in time, that is where I'm at with this one. I believe the flags are connections because they don't line up with any of the other concepts, and I can't make them fit anywhere else. So I've got them as being representative of the connections, and the orientation of them likely has something to do with whether it is regarding all of life or connection in general. See, over here we have them with the post on top, and any other single one post on top. Right, so this could just be the connections. I'll have to have a closer look at that one because I've got it noted as being the connection post at the bottom, but I can't find any there in that glyph for you. So I'll look further into that and come back to it. The connections in humanity, it looks like what I would describe as a three-legged cross. So good picture of it in this one, and I believe it's this symbol here. We've got the legs all joining up into one, right? So there's a connection there, symbolism of connection between people. There it is again, represented down in the corner. Okay, so I believe that is what that symbol is. I think it's happens to, no, that's probably the best two in this glyph. And then with the connections of individuals, it's a horizontal line with a connection riser on the left and a small symbol above the right-hand side. Let's see if I can track down one of these fellows. So it's like the vertically positioned flag posts with the connection on the side, but it's laying down vertically. Oh, sorry, horizontally. Let's see. May not be. Okay, so it's like this symbol here. Okay, so the line, and then it has the connection riser, almost like what we'd know as an L shape today, I guess, an upside down L shape, capital L. Okay, so this symbol here, I believe, is in reference to that connection of an individual. The small symbol, we'll get to that because the small symbol is relevant to individuals as well. And the next section is the joins. Okay, so this is now the stronger type of connection. And joins, for the overall concept of joining, is a thin horizontal line with the connections represented in the center. Okay, these look like a flat line, a horizontal line with a bloom of, I guess, energy, you would say, right? But it's signifying a joining in the energy. So again, straight line because it's the overarching concept, and these triangular points in the middle, they're basically the connection has occurred. It's saying there's a connection in the energy, or a join, because it's the join concept. So I should be careful about saying that. Okay, now the join in terms of life is a hook shape or a loop line. Now, and what I mean by that is it's kind of like a shepherd's staff. So you could hook them together like chains and they'd be very strong. You could create a good strong set of links by hooking these loops together. And let's see if we quickly find a good example of that shape. Okay, this one here at the start, just this little fellow in here, I believe that is what he's doing. But anyway, this is a hooked line underneath. So that's what's representing joined life. This statement basically means joins an individual unity, this unity sign. There we go, male bird, female bird in balance, joins unity, which creates a circle of a new life. This is the new life on the ground here, which is a symbol, which carries a symbol, the beginning of an individual life, which is a symbol that's deprived as an individual symbol, which is sheltered and protected by the mother and using water, okay, energy from the sun and the matter particles is a new beneficial, or sorry, I believe, I can't see the last thing, but I believe this is encapsulated statement, so it would be it gives a new life. Can't see the rest of it. But anyway, that's essentially translates that first line for you there. Let's go back across to the joining of humanity. That's where we're up to. Right, so it's the Y shape of convergence, because convergence is represented as Y, that we would know it today, with three horizontal lines connecting to a person's body. So best one I'll give for you is here, and it's much like this concept here, except we just see that there's a good one there, a little bit scrubbed out. Oh, this one's even better. So we have the stylized shape of the person here, these three connections of energy, and this is our Y shape. So it means convergence. It's upside down to what we know it today, but that's easy. You just turn it up the other way. There's another one. Okay, so it's joined in convergence basically. That is what that is saying. And for an individual, it's the small hook shape with the fluid shape on top. So that was the one I showed you just previously. That one there with this fluid shape on top of a hooked line. And there is also the representation of just the hooked line. I'm not sure if I have one nearby. I don't think so. Okay. Oh, it could be it just there. No, that's not looped enough. That's no, it's not right. Perhaps I don't have a picture of it here. It is fairly common, as you would imagine. No, look, I can't find any here, so we'll just keep moving on. And then we'll go and we'll get to the M, and let's talk about the M. And then we'll call it for this video. So the concept for masculinity, and there is a concept for femininity also. That's the W. Right? But for masculinity, it's the M. We know it as today, and it's represented in two contexts. Obviously, there's no masculine concept for inorganic things, only organic. And so we have a life level concept, and we have an individual level concept. So this is where the birds all start to come into the mix. So where you see a large bird which has more colouring on it, as per real life, that is a male bird, and it's representative of masculine energy. In the individual context, it is the feather of the bird. Right? It's a single feather, it's an individual feather, and the feather will have more coloured lines on it than for a female. So you'll see here This is the male bird here, a little bit more colouring and a beak sticking out, right? Because the male gives to the female receives. That the females are depicted with shorter beaks, um, and that was the way they differentiated. Okay, so over here you see the feather, single feather. And oh, there's the hooked line down there at the bottom, guys. Just found it. There is a good example of the single hooked line concept for joining. Okay, so you can imagine if you put two of those together and pulled them tight, they would slip apart. It's a very strong, not a bond, but a very strong connection. It's a join. Now so that's fairly straightforward. I mean, we could look at many pictures and many examples of the feathers. They're stylized everywhere. Here's another one. So basically, that means masculine individual, and that's where it comes from. So at this point in time, I'm set on that if it has an infill of lines inside it, it will be referencing the male energy, and if it's just a plain feather unfilled, it'll be the female energy. So the male birds are the brightly coloured ones, and the females are often the less brightly coloured, like plain in representation. All right, guys, I'll wrap up this episode and just double check a couple of symbols there. So as I said, this is evolving as I go along and making changes as I go, but the concepts, they're not changing, right? The concepts, they stay stable. It's just a question of being certain of which symbol best matches the concept. And as we go, we will see it carries right through Greek, Latin alphabet, right to the modern day. All right, guys, once again, thanks for joining me. Had a great time, and I hope you did too. Share the video, give it a like, and click subscribe if you want to get more of this kind of content. There's so much that I'm going to be talking about going forward, not just these hieroglyphs. Once I've got this sorted, I'm going to really start digging apart a lot of different things that are very confused in the world. So once again, thanks guys. Thanks for joining me in the workshop, and hope to see you all again for part 4 in the hieroglyph series. Thanks guys. See ya.